Biafra, superstars, media.
Fellow Biafrans, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Our leader is in court today. His Excellency Nnamdi Kanu. Today, as I speak, is May the 21st, 2025. Our leader, Oyendu, is in court. Or Hamadike is in court. Wednesday, 21st of May, 2025. That's him shaking the prosecutors against him, a just man. Let's keep watching. A man who was discharged of all cases has found himself in court again. The two men dressed in black suit next to him are DSS men. They have changed the previous one who is always coming around. The next two you've seen by his left hand side are DSS. They can't fool us. We know the game they play, but that's Nigeria for you. Our leader is handing over court documents to the legal team. He has prepared his own document, his own evidence. There's the problem. When they hold you in the DSS custody, you have no time to interact with your legal team. But let's keep on watching. That's the great Justice Kanu Agabi, senior advocate of that zoo called Nigeria. Respect to him, but a zoo remains a zoo. Only in Nigeria is when a man is acquitted, he still finds himself in court. A man acquitted of all charges. A man acquitted of all charges. But here he is, still facing the same charges. Old, outdated charges that were struck out. I will give my analysis after this video. I have to. I will give my analysis after this video, because this madness is getting out of hand. This madness is getting out of hand. They are there waiting for the Justice James Omotosho. They are waiting. A man acquitted of all charges, discharged of all charges. He's still here facing courts. He's still here to face the same charges. Let that make sense. Let that make sense. My people, now how on a day I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending from where you're listening to the sound of my voice. This is the Biafra Superstars Media, and I'm holding it down. I say may God bless Biafra, and may God bless His Excellency Nnamdi Kanu May God bless, 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 may God bless His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Biafra, USB, His Excellency, ESN, Ekpa, Simon and Joko, for the job Simon is doing. Simon, I want to say we thank you. We appreciate you. We love you because we know in your hands Biafra has come. In your hands Biafra will be safe. And in your hands, now that Biafra has come, the people of Biafra will rejoice. I repeat, in your hands, Simon Ekpa, now that Biafra has come, the people of Biafra will rejoice. When I say the people, I mean the men, the women, the children, the old, the young, the sick, the mild, the gentle, the poor, the meek, the civilized and the uncivilized. Those born in Biafra and those born in the Bight of Biafra, we shall all come together under one voice, under one accord, under one union, under one government, under one God, to scream for Hallelujah Day, the day that the God of Biafra has made. Above all, I say, may God bless Her Excellency, the Deputy Prime Minister, Her Excellency, Dr. Ngozi Oruabueze. She is a great woman. She is the Margaret Thatcher of Biafra, the Deborah of Biafra, a woman who has seen it all. So far, so good. Madam, we thank you, because we know at the end we shall rejoice. I love the way you were dancing at the face of victory. I love that. I will make a video on that very, very soon, because at the time of victory, just like David in the Bible, just like King Solomon in the Bible, they all rejoiced. They danced and danced and danced, and their enemies were bamboozled. At this point, fellow Biafrans, listeners all across the world, today is the day of our leader Nnamdi Kanu, once again brought to court in that so-called Nigeria. Today is Wednesday, the 21st of May, 2025. This is a man who has no case to answer. A man that the judge, the appeal court, said this man has no case to answer. He was discharged in the appeal court of that so-called Nigeria. Unfortunately, a Fulani man known as Malami, a man who studied Islamic law, a man who studied Islam in the university, was made the Attorney General of that so-called Nigeria. And suddenly that same man said, even though he was discharged by the appeal court, he was not acquitted. Lord have mercy. A riffraff, a non-entity, a stark illiterate, a functioning illiterate was interpreting the law of that so-called Nigeria. And today, our leader is still being held in solitary confinement in the so-called gulag of the DSS. Fellow Biafrans, today he's back in court. Sometimes you wonder, what is he even doing in court? It beats my imagination. Why will our leader Nnamdi Kanu be in court? A man who has no case to answer. They want to charge him with the case of Ahmed Gugulak. They want to charge him with the case of NSAS and the rest. They said he made a broadcast all the way in faraway London. He was speaking on his own behalf. He was advocating. And suddenly they said no, because he spoke from London during NSAS. That means that he is guilty. He is responsible for all the things that happened in NSAS. But if you give that same Nigeria the chance, they will tell you nobody died in NSAS. You give the Lagos State governor, that idiot, that fool, he said nobody died in NSAS. It was a near say. It was a rumor. Nobody died in NSAS. But today our leader is being charged by the DSS as an evidence against him that he is responsible for all the atrocities that happened during the event of NSAS. Fellow Biafrans, today I want us to stay strong, because something strange is happening. I say something strange is happening at a time like this. Two of our prominent leaders, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Simon Ekpa, are being held and being charged of terrorism at a time like this, at two different continents. One in Africa, one in Europe, one in Nigeria, one in Finland, one in West Africa, one in the Scandinavian land. Fellow Biafrans, is a strange one, because only a Biafran goes through this at a time when in Nigeria all you hear about is kidnapping, pillaging, and terrorism. Boko Haram, ISWAP, ISIS, Lakorawa, they are having a field day in that zoo called Nigeria. Every nook and cranny, everywhere you go, through and fro Nigeria, you hear about the bandits, you hear about the headsmen killing, taking over the land. The Christians are being killed. Every day as we speak, land's been taken over. Go to Benue, go to Borno, you go down to even Plateau. Just is happening. In the Yoruba land is happening. Ondo, Ogun, Oyo, everywhere is going, it's happening. Even in Biafra land, in Enugu state to an extent, Imo state, you see what's happening in those areas. Yet, the only person being held or being held for terrorism, the only man being charged for terrorism is our leader Nnamdi Kanu. What a travail of justice, I call this. Something that is hard to believe. Oh Lord, have mercy. Sometimes if you tell me this is Bollywood, I would have believed you. At a time when a particular people, a particular tribe, a particular people, a particular strangers come into the land, people that came as strangers, people that came to live amongst you, they are coming and they are killing, they are pillaging, taking over the lands of the Christians and the rest of them. But today, the only man being charged of terrorism in that so-called Nigeria is Nnamdi Kanu. Also, when you look in Europe, we have taken all the atrocities, all the evidence to ICC, to the UN, to the EU. But today, Finland of all people, Finland, one of the so-called best countries when it comes to respecting and upholding the rule of law. Finland is skipping to the law of Nigeria. Finland is holding Simon Ekpa incommunicado for 7 months. And today they are saying he's been charged for the incitement to commit terrorism. You can't believe this. It looks like a movie. It looks like a soap opera. You would think you are watching a TV series. That a people, the good guys, the good ones, those speaking for their liberation, those speaking to protect their people, those trying to defend themselves, they are the ones being called terrorists. They are the ones being taken to court. In Nigeria, no Boko Haram, no ISIS, no ISWAP, no Lakuro. None of them has been called or held or taken to court under terrorism. What you hear is, oh my God, they have now turned to born again. Suddenly, terrorists, they are becoming born again. Suddenly, they believe in the tenets of Jesus, turning people to become born again. Now they said, oh, now they believe in the scripture of Nicodemus in the Bible, where Jesus Christ told him that for you to make heaven, you must become born again. They tell us that, oh my God, the terrorists, Boko Haram, ISIS, ISWAP, they have repented. They have repented. And within 2 to 3 weeks, you see them dressed in new uniforms. They are dressed in the Nigerian military uniforms. They join the military, they join the police, they join the army, they join everything in that parastatus in that zoo called Nigeria. They turn to born again, and suddenly your so-called Boko Haram are now in your military. They are the one being sent to go and capture the so-called Boko Haram members. Fellow Biafrans, listeners all across the world, this is the story of Nigeria. This has been the theme of that zoo called Nigeria. And you expect us, the Biafrans, to conform, to somehow appreciate the way things are. No, we are different people. Our way of life is different. Our culture to life is different. Our psychology is different. So we are saying we are done with that zoo called Nigeria. We have no business with Nigeria. We have no affinity with Nigeria. There is no more union with the Biafrans and Nigeria. We are saying allow us to go. We are also calling on Finland to do what is right. Finland, we assume that during the Biafran War of 1967 to 1970, we assumed that we were on the side of the Biafrans, because even the Biafran national anthem was conducted by a Finnish. Lord have mercy. I say, the national anthem of Biafra was conducted by a Finnish man. Not only that, during the Biafran War, when the children of Biafra are being, starved into Kwashoko and the rest of them, the children of Finland, they were taxed not to leave their food over. Don't leave any left over. Eat your food. Remember those in Biafra that has no food. If you have any money, donate to the children of Biafra. And for the first time, a people in Europe, they were donating money for the children, the starving children of Biafra. This happened in Finland. So we assume that Finland was a friend to Biafra. But today, Finland of all countries, they are now the one colluding with Nigeria with the promise of oil and gas. They were promised oil and gas by the Jagaban administration. And somehow, they called Simon Ekpa in the month of November. They told him to come around for questioning, and we all assumed that what they were saying was right. We assumed what they were saying was just. So Simon Ekpa went there to have those questioning with them, to discuss with them, not knowing he was being held incommunicado. They told him that he has, caused something online which is linked to terrorism. And for 2 weeks, according to the laws of Finland, you can hold somebody for 2 weeks. I repeat, according to the laws of Finland, when you suspect someone of being a terrorist, you can hold that person for 2 weeks incommunicado. At the end of the 2 weeks, you will then review the case and send him to court or make him a free person. But in the case of Finland and Simon Ekpa, they came with a gray area that said after the review, you can go back to court. After the review of 2 weeks, you can go back to court. So suddenly, Finland started to behave like Nigeria. They were now applying the same law, misinterpreting the laws of Finland as the zoo does in Nigeria. Suddenly, every 2 weeks, Finland will go to court with Simon Ekpa's case, and they will review it, and they will say back to the review, back to the drawing board. So every 2 weeks, they were now exploiting that gray area that said somebody can be held for 2 weeks. And since the month of November, the 18th of November, I believe, till today, they've been reviewing his case every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, every fortnight. And ever since then, just last week, we heard that he's been charged. He has been charged by Finland. And they are saying, oh, what he did online was an incitement to terrorism. Nigeria can make the Western world to dance. When they promise them oil and gas, they will skip to the law of Nigeria. For the first time, Finland has destroyed their own law, their own principles. A people that we respected so much, they have descended so low, all because of the promise of oil and gas. Fellow Biafrans, it is a strange one. At a time like this, at a time when Biafra was redeclared, a people going through terrorism charges are the Biafrans. In Nigeria, where you have Boko Haram and the rest, and Nnamdi Kanu, as you see right here, he's going through terrorism charges. Nigeria, oh Nigeria, in Nigeria, elephants can fly. There is a fact that in that zoo called Nigeria, nothing good can come out of Nigeria. For those that say they love Nigeria, for those that say God bless Nigeria, Nigeria go better. People like Rufai Oseni and the rest of them in the media, we know that right now those doing well are those in politics and those in the media. Because in the media, every day they have a breaking news. Every day is a breaking news. They are discussing the politics, they are discussing Boko Haram, they are discussing ISIS and ISWAP, they are discussing kidnapping, they are discussing all sorts of things, even NEPA problem, water problem, gas, oil, and everything is going on in that zoo called Nigeria, all at the same time. So there is a breaking news in that zoo. And when there is a breaking news every day in that zoo, it means the media will have a field day, because every day they have a brand new news to talk about. Lord have mercy. At this point, all I want to say to my Biafrans is, please, keep your head up. Don't allow what is happening to Nnamdi Kanu in the Nigerian zoo court to affect your mental health. Don't allow them. That's the plan of Nigeria. They want to bamboozle you with some kind of strange things happening to Nnamdi Kanu in that zoo called Nigeria. They want to break down your armor. They want to break down your confidence. They want you to feel low. They want to give you anxiety, depression, and mental health. So I'm telling all the Biafrans living in that zoo called Nigeria to keep your head up. Ignore the zoo called Nigeria. As the saying goes in the Bible, give what belongs to Caesar, and to God, to God. Give what belongs to Nigeria, and to Biafra. We know Nnamdi Kanu will never ever have justice in that zoo called Nigeria. Not even in the court of Nigeria. A court that did the miracle. They did an unthinkable. He was discharged by the court of Nigeria. But Nigerian government said, no. Even though they discharged you, the case is still here. So you are not being acquitted. Yes, they discharged you, but you are yet to be acquitted. That's Nigeria for you. So please, ignore whatever is happening in that zoo called Nigeria. We know the devil when we see one. We know Nigeria. We know how peculiar they are in their attitude and their behavior. So we are begging on the Biafrans to stay strong. All the elders in Biafra, please remain strong. Remain focused. Remember the assignment given to us by our Prime Minister, Mazi Ekpa Simon Njoku. He told us to keep our eyes on the rising sun. Keep your eyes on the rising sun. Keep your focus on Biafra. We have redeclared Biafra on the 29th of November 2024. Don't allow the zoo called Nigeria to distract you. Don't make them pretend as if they have power, dominion over you. We are now a country. We now have a government. We have our own governors. We are coming to implement Biafra in Biafra land. That's the goal. That's the assignment. That's what we should be looking at. Ignore that zoo called Nigeria, whatever they are doing to Nnamdi Kanu, and Finland, they're just wasting their time. It's a child's play in Finland. Nothing will happen to His Excellency Mazi Ekpa Simon and Joko. At this point, I will be back. I will give this whole day to Nnamdi Kanu. Because of that, I will keep my nose, I will keep my eyes on Nigeria and their legal system. I'll be back for part 2. Watch out for part 2 and let me show what's going on in that zoo. I will come with the update of what Justice James Omotosho is saying. A Yoruba man has chosen to take this case, a case that they said Nnamdi Kanu has no case to answer. But let us watch and see and observe how it will all go. For here, for now, I'm going to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I will be back. God bless you and God bless Biafra.
Yeah, check me out. Superstars Media. Lord Logan, Bloomington, Lord Logan, and it's wild Flora show. 1914 amalgamation is what we dying for. 3 nations to 1 nation. Ever since annihilation, nepotism is nonsense. You and you, clap your hands. Biafra gonna come, clap your hands. Biafra, Oduduwa, we're free now. Freedom is gonna come, we're free now. Yeah.